Hi, I'm Bridget, the head witch in charge at Bridget Marie Energy Design. And today we're talking about the system that I use to run my business and my personal life in Notion as an ADHD solopreneur. The digital organizational system that I use is similar to Para by Tiago Forte, which stands for Projects, Areas, Reference, Archive. I'm not going to go super in depth into that, especially because my beautiful brain doesn't 100% agree with the strict rules. So I've modified it to work for me. I can link an article below if you want to read a little bit more about Para. What I'm going to do today is show you how I utilize my similar system and how I have it set up inside Notion. And because my beautiful brain wanted some dopamine in going through all of this, I also really wanted a fun acronym for my own system. So I started to call it APTS, APTS, which was Areas, Projects, Tasks, Second Brain. And the second brain is like my reference library sector. But since second brain is already a coined term, I thought that maybe I should just stick with the word reference. And then my acronym turned into raptr, which obviously then my brain took into thinking of Raptor because dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, all of that is super cool and I'm super nerdy. So, like, why don't I add another R at the beginning just simply for fun because I can and have it be Raptor? And then I get to have dinosaurs within my organizational system just because I want to. And that's how my wild, beautiful ADHD brain works. So, let's go ahead and take a little journey with my Raptor. I've learned a lot of what I know about building a digital system from Michelle over at Holisticism. They've got some really great, amazing Notion courses for beginners, and I'd highly recommend that you check those out if you are new to Notion or new to systems in general, especially if you have what they call a squiggly brain, which is a beautiful neurodivergent brain like mine. Each of these main areas of my Raptor live within my Holy Grail headquarters, which is what I call my entire organizational HQ. This is where it all lives. And the Holy Grail headquarters is now available as a Notion template based off my system that I've built and refined and that you're about to get a little peek into. And if you are an intuitive business owner and you're interested in a customizable system to help you get shit done, check out the link in the description below. The top level of the system is areas. These are the broad, ongoing categories of your life. Mine are personal, home, and business, and they live here on my Holy Grail HQ. Under project task management, I have these databases all set up on here. So areas, the top areas that I have in here are my business / work, my personal area, and my house, home area. I originally started out with more life areas, and I quickly found that that was way too convoluted for me. It did not make sense for me and my beautiful brain, so I simplified it. I've seen other people have other life areas like relationships, health, you name it. Or if you want to just focus on business, having it categorized out into your marketing area, your branding area, and so on and so forth. That was just a bit too much for me. It didn't work. I needed something super, super simple. So for me, my business covers everything related to my business. Personal covers things like health, my friendships, hobbies, anything fun to do. And then house and home for me is anything house related, anything with my relationship with my partner, my cats, anything with our extended family. And so this is what it looks like in the database on the back end. Pretty much never go here. You can see it as a table, but really it's just like this. I never really look at this. This shows what it is all related to, but I like it as a gallery, keeping it simple. And so primarily the use of the areas database is just for categorization and top level organization. So you can see if I open up any one of these pages inside of here, I have it set up as a template. I'll open it as a full page. And I just have a view in here of my projects database, which is what we're going to get into next. So these are any of my projects that are related to my work area. So that is basically all that I have in here. Same thing for my other ones, personal. I just have my personal projects in here. So let's get into projects next. Projects have goals or things that you want to accomplish or work towards. This is where I start to disagree with Para that says that your projects have to have a completion date. And if it's something ongoing, then that should be categorized as an area. A lot of this I also think is just semantics. You can name these databases whatever you want, whatever is going to make sense with you and your beautiful brain. And the way that it makes sense for me and my beautiful brain is that some projects have a completion date and some are ongoing. And actually, a lot of my projects are ongoing. That's just how I like them. This is what the back end of my projects database looks like. So I have this separated out here to show me my business projects first, then my house, then my personal. And these I have a template set up for a project. And I'll show you an example of the one that I'm working on right now, my Holy Grail HQ Notion template. Inside each project, you can see here that I have it related to my areas database. Whoops, just clicked on it. Let's go back. So this is related to my business area of my entire system. And then I also have it related to a bunch of other databases within my system. And this helps me to keep everything in my system interconnected and helps me to work with more ease as I'm going through it. So this is a template that I have set up in my projects database, and I'll give you a little peek there. And if y'all want a further in-depth video on my projects and how I have that all set up, just let me know and I'd be happy to show that to you. My favorite ways of looking at my projects is the main way that I do it is on my daily dashboard. I have it set up near the top here so that it is something that I have to scroll through it. Like I have to see it as I'm on my way down to look at my tasks. So these are always front and center. It's filtered to show me my new and in progress projects. This is how I like to look at my work projects. My personal projects are on another personal dashboard that I'm just gonna keep that to myself, but you can see how this is set up here. That is set up it's similar but different since my personal life area and my home area are very different than my business. I have each of those things set up a bit differently, but in different ways that makes sense for me to be able to go through my whole entire life with more ease. And that's what I think is really fucking great about Notion is that you can completely customize it to work with however you operate. Next part of the system is tasks. So you have your areas, then those are broken down into projects, and then your projects are broken down into tasks. These are your action or to-do items that help you move the needle and complete your project. On the back end, the tasks database is like, whoa, holy shit. I literally never go on the back end. I basically only use it as filtered views on other dashboards. This is what it looks like on the back end. It shows every single thing that it is connected to in here in terms of related databases. And so I'll show you how I like to use it, like to look at it in an actual usable way. On my daily dashboard, I use the Kanban view of my tasks database here to show me the tasks for each day of the week. As you can see right now, we are mostly through the week. So as I mark each thing completed, it pops off of here. If you want to check out a more in-depth video on how I do this Monday Hour 1 task scheduling process, check out my Monday Hour 1 video. I also like to look at my tasks in my projects database. I have a view of my tasks inside of here as well. So I know if I open up a project, I can see it in there because these are related. Maybe I should mention that. If I open up one of these tasks here, you can see that each task is related to a project, and then I have a roll up in here to show me which area it is related to. So I don't have to type that in, I can just pull it. So I assign this to this project, and this is a work project. So those all show up inside my tasks. I am also in the middle of working on a task management video, so if you'd like to see that, just let me know. Next up are goals, which was not included in my Raptor acronym, but I wanted to include it in here anyway because it fits for me somewhere in between your projects and tasks, and it's related to both. So goals are specific outcomes that you're working towards inside your projects. And these can be like fun benchmarks to keep you moving forward in your projects. And then you can assign tasks to then help complete these goals. This is the part of my system that is the absolute newest. I have only just begun to start making connections and make things click for me for goals. My whole entire life, I just have not understood goals. Just like couldn't do it. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing. I don't know if it's, who knows? I don't know. But they've only now just started to like really come to me and click. And so I'm not going to show you what I have on the back end of my goals dashboard because it is chaotic and personal, and I'm still really trying to figure it out. So what I am going to show you is the template that is inside the Holy Grail HQ. So this is the goals dashboard. You can write some goals in here, show you your goals for the quarter, put them on the calendar, and have them down here in this little board. And then they include, it'll roll up your area once you fill in your project, and you can have any related tasks here. So any tasks that you are working on that are going to make this goal happen, that are going to make your project happen. Next up comes the second brain, or the reference library. This is where I store anything to reference later. And it isn't just one database for me. I have a handful of different databases, depending on what these reference materials are, that it made sense in my brain to do it this way. So for example, I have a journal, I've got a health database, I have a shopping list, my content calendar for my business, I've got a reading list, my gratitude and joy journal, and my inbox. Those are all things that I consider my reference library, and so they don't all necessarily live on my second brain dashboard, but they mostly live here in my Holy Grail. So I have my content dashboard here, my second brain dashboard here. I've got a few different shopping dashboards, but the main one lives here. And I've got my journal and my health in my private databases because I give access to my HQ to some different people, and there are a few databases that I just want to keep private. And then this is what my second brain dashboard looks like right now. It's really simple, and I got the bones of this from a holisticism template. And on the back end, it looks absolutely wild. And so, like many other databases, this is not how I look at it. Basically, if I want to find anything in the actual second brain, I go into the tags section. And these are the tags that I use when I save something inside of the second brain. I make sure that I tag it, and then that's how I find it later. Here's an example of one of my tags, my food tag. This is what the template looks like. I don't have very many things under here saved as food, but you get the gist. Now that we've gotten balls deep into how I have my Notion system structure set up, I want to tell you how it all started, in hopes that just in case you need some encouragement because you're feeling overwhelmed by maybe either not having a system and wanting to set one up, or trying to figure out how to refine what you already have. When I first started in my Notion system, I started out with one piece at a time. And then once one thing clicked, I would move on to the next step of the process. So some of this system didn't start making sense until 2 years into it. And also thinking about that, maybe it didn't click, or I didn't understand it because I didn't necessarily need that part of the system yet. So it's been a steady work in progress, and it's been growing with me and growing with my business and growing with my needs. I first started out with just a task database, a list of all of the things that I wanted and needed to do. But then that quickly got out of hand because it wasn't organized. My tasks weren't clearly defined. So, like, what was my reason for doing these tasks? What was I working towards? I needed them to be organized into specific projects, working towards a something. And this is where goals are starting to make sense to me now. How do I know that I am making any progress in these projects? By setting up corresponding goals that fall within the projects. I know what tasks I need to do to get to certain pieces within my project. And that helps for celebrating your accomplishments, celebrating where you've been, how far you've come. That's all really cool. Thanks for hanging out to hear about the top level organizational structure of my Notion system. Like I mentioned earlier, I've recently released a Notion template called the Holy Grail HQ, which includes this system that we've seen today and many more interconnected databases and dashboards to help you run your intuitive business with more ease and joy. I love building systems within Notion, especially for other neurodivergent folks who need customization to work for their unique brains. You can take the pieces of this system that make sense and work for you and run wild with them. You don't have to use everything, and you can customize it to make it work even better for you. And then when you're ready for those other pieces of the system, they'll be there waiting for you to support you in that part of your journey. If you're interested in this Holy Grail system, click the link below and let me know what other parts of my system, my business, or my life that you're curious about and would like to see a video on. I'll see you next time. Last up comes the second brain, or the